Yeah. So obviously you missed just marginally there, but the finish did help you get up into Europe. So that was the next stage of your career. You headed up there, and it looks like in the first season, you did adequately. You finished in the top 50.
Yeah, yeah. Made tour championship. Played quite well, and just enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good fun. And just got used to it. I mean, so by then I think I was about 30. So I remember one of the dreams I had was being on an international tour by the time I was 30, and then lo and behold, I'm there, and it was quite strange.
Now you're back in Australia by 1999, and back playing the Greg Norman Holden Classic at the Lakes, and again a little bit of dramatics around the final hole. You're in the clubhouse, I assume, with the lead, and Bernard Langer playing the par 3 just has to par it to take victory, but instead takes a triple bogey, and now Michael Long has won. He's got for the guy that was borrowing money back in southern states of America. You've just won $1 million tournament.
Yeah. Look, I mean that was cool fun. So quickly, it was a Sydney. Sometimes you have these southerly buses come in, and when they come in, they blow hard. So the week before, I played. I think it was a PGA, and it blew a gale in the final round. I was up there in that one, and I shot a horrendous 81 or 82, something like that, round La Perouse or New South Wales Golf Club, which is very exposed. So, yeah, it was bad, but a lot of people were having a lot more than I was having. So we final round there, the southerly bus is due to come at 11:30. I'm teeing off at around 11:40 or something like that. I'm sixth last group out or fifth last group out. Sure enough, the southerly buster comes in. I remember a guy saying to me, "Oh, well, you're gone, aren't you? You can't play in the wind." I'm going, "Okay, fair enough." And I started bogey, par bogey, but then shot 1 under for the day. I don't know how I did it. I got it around. The only player to shoot under par in the afternoon, or from about 11 o'clock, from 10 o'clock onwards, from the tee times. It was a great round. And that final hole, it was the number one. It was the hardest hole that day. Par 3, looked straightforward, just knock it up there. But it was the hardest hole all day. And I'm playing with Pete Senior again, and he birdies the 17th, so he's on the tee first. I'm thinking, great, I've got a chance to see what he's going to hit here, and it'll work. I'll be able to work it out from there. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to have to nut a 3-iron here. This will probably come up just short, and I'll try and chip and putt. And so Pete gets up there, and I reckon he's pulled 5-iron or something. I don't know what he's thinking, but anyway, he's 5-iron. I'm going, okay, well, I'll just see what this 5-iron does. And he proceeds to put it in the right grandstand. I won't call it a shank, but it was a severe block. And I'm going, well, that's taught me nothing. So I end up, I didn't know I hit a shot into the bunker. It was plugged or wasn't lying great. Got it out just short of the green, and I chipped and putt for bogey. So I've finished 1 under. So it was a ridiculously hard hole that day. It was playing really hard, and when Bernard hit his shot into, I think it was about 2 series of traps into the first series of traps plugged, I'm thinking, because he needed a par to win, bogey to get a playoff, and I'm thinking, I've got a chance here. I think bogey's going to be a good score for him, and ended up, I mean, he they call him the ice cool German, and he's very good, and he's had a phenomenal career, and it still carries on. But it just shows you what can happen in the span of 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He's over the back of the green. He's flubbed it up onto the green. So by now, I know I've won it. He's taken him 4 to get onto the green. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is mine. I'm pretty sure this is mine. And he's that rattled by this stage that he goes to put his ball. He goes down. I don't quite know what he did. He picked his ball up and picked his marker up at the same point, at the same time. And he's gone, looked at his hands. He's going, oh, hang on a minute. I got my golf ball. I got my marker. Where's the spot? So obviously, shot penalty, and I tell you, probably that really helped was I think Michael Campbell. So he went from possibly been third or tied in a tie for second to come in second outright. And then pretty much, I think from there, that's where he went on his little run and won kept it going and won a major and won the US Open.
So then, of all the injuries that you think that a professional golfer could get, you know, torn muscles and rotator cuffs and wrist injuries and the like, you're boogie boarding at a beach, I understand, somewhere in Western Australia, and an absolute freakish occurrence happens to you coming off a wave.
Yeah. My good friend Elliot Bolt just got some boogie boards for Christmas. Thought we'd go down there on about the 28th, and I just got my card to go to the States. Again, I was back on the Corn Ferry tour. I wasn't on the main tour.
Yeah.
And go down there, and I'd go down to the water's edge, go to dive to get through a wave, and just completely ride it up and do a 180 and come straight down into the sand. So it wasn't even graceful, wasn't even in the water, it was not even surfing, it was just a disaster. So, well, not really a disaster. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. So I sort of picked myself up, and Elliot goes, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah, sort of." And I had a splitting headache, pain across my shoulders. I was winded, I felt nauseous, but I actually felt better in the water. So, very luckily for me, I stayed in the water for about another 20 minutes, came in on about another 5 waves or 15 minutes with a broken neck. So I had a crushed vertebrae, C5, C6, broke the C5 bone, and here I am. I'm still in the water. And eventually the pain up my left arm just became too much, and I had to get out of the water. But I mean, I was just trying to recover, get my breath back, and I was doing a few stretches, stretching across the shoulder. And the specialist said, when I'm in the hospital, about 8 hours later, they told me I got a broken neck. And he says, if you'd just done that, that was it. And that was the one stretch I didn't do, because I felt it all across my shoulders. I never felt it in my neck. And he says, if you'd done that, we could have been had a totally different conversation. And you talk about being a freakish thing. I think that week, 5 of us, five people went into hospital over about 6 days with broken necks or fractured necks, and 3 of us walked out, and 2 had to go on to Shenton Park, which is a rehab, serious neck injury, spinal injury place. And so sort of freakish, but that week it was just that sort of break on the beach, and we actually had quite a few people in hospital that day or that week.
So you obviously recovered, and you got yourself to America eventually, as you had planned, onto the secondary tour. Won twice on there, and earned entry into the very big stage, the US tour, which is an incredible achievement.
Yeah, it was. Thank you. It's a great tour, the Corn Ferry Tour, or back then it was Nationwide and Buy.com. There's been a few names, but it is really brutal. And I possibly think there is more talent on that tour than there is on the PGA Tour. The difference is the PGA Tour is professionals. They are the best of the best. They are super professional and great, but they're the talent out there, and it's a tough tour to be on. It's not a tour you want to be on for the rest of your life. It will drive you. You'll get old real quick playing it. But if you can get through that tour, it's really good. And to win twice on it, I'm pretty proud of those ones. Tough tour though.
Now, at some stage, you earned an invitation to the White House and found yourself in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Like, I mean, the US. I mean, that's what happens with the US tour. You don't know who you're going to meet, and golf over there it's not an elitist sport, but it's a sport. It's the big show. When a tournament comes to town, it is the show, and everyone wants to be there. And you just meet people, and you play pro-ams, and you just meet all these wonderful people. And one of them was Spencer Geisinger, who's assistant chief. I've forgotten his title now, but anyway, he worked for the Bushes, And basically, he was a guy who'd organise all the overseas trips and engagements for the president, etc., and go ahead and do stuff. And says, "Come on, let's go meet the president." Unfortunately, and we're playing in Washington at the time, and I was going to meet George Bush Jr. Unfortunately, we ran about 45 minutes late, and he had to take off. But still wandered around the Oval Office and in the press room, and did all those kind of cool things. And actually, just quickly, there's another story I was going to say. So I got a guy. So the New Zealand Open, when I won the New Zealand Open, so I'm just going to make sure I got his name right. It's Chris, but I can't remember his last name. When I won the New Zealand Open, sort of on the Tuesday or Wednesday, a kid comes up to me and says, "I want, can I have your hat, Mr. Long?" And I've gone, "Well, no, I like to keep my hat for the tournament, but I'll tell you what, at the end of the tournament, come up to me and I'll give you my hat." And so I actually ended up winning the New Zealand Open. And this kid comes up to me and says, "Can I have your hat?" I'm going, "Yeah, no problems. Here you go." And I sign it and I give it to him. And don't think anything of it. And it was a Strata hat. So I'm in Perth here 18 months ago. And this guy comes up to me through a friend and says, you don't recognise me, do you?" I'm going, "No." "No, I don't, sorry." He says, "I'm the kid you gave your hat to." And he brought it out and showed me. He's still got the hat. It's a Strata hat, Chris Redmond. And it's amazing, there's things that happen in golf, whether it's famous people or people who can do things for you, or just these stories that just come back into your life years later.
Yeah. And so you came back to Australia, and amazingly, you're still winning, Michael. You won the Victorian Open. You won again over at Kalgoorlie just in 2018. And very recently, you've taken to the senior circuit, and you were top qualifier getting ready for the European Seniors Tour, which I guess everything that's going on in the world right now has been placed on hold. But what's the next steps for Michael Long?
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean, and who knows what golf's going to come back like when we start up again. But yeah, it's been pretty good fun. I suppose if you count the US the Stay Sure Tour tour school, I've won in 4 different decades, starting in the 90s and the 2000s, 2010s, and now 2020. So been very fortunate. It's who knows? I mean, I still like playing golf. I still, as I say, I have that itch to get up and practice and work out and train. And no matter how bad the round is that day or the next day, I still want to get out of bed and play golf. So while that passion's still there, I'll look to keep on playing golf. I am starting to do a bit of coaching, and I probably think myself more as it's michaellonggolf.com if anyone's interested.
Nice.
And basically what I'm doing is I see myself more as a coach than a teacher. I believe you have to have basics in that, but enjoying the game and finding the passion for it is more what I'd like to pass on to people, and so they just find the same amount of enjoyment that I have out of the game. And who knows where it goes, as Yogi Berra says. When you come to a fork in the road, take it.
Yeah, I like it. Michael, I'm just going to finish this interview off, just bringing it back to Paraparaumu Beach now, and just remembering back to the times you've played there. Do you have a particular favourite hole at Paraparaumu Beach, and can you perhaps tell us why?
That is a good question. There was a lot of great holes about on that course that I love, because I believe in a little bit of I believe in luck in the game, and I like how Paraparaumu, you can hit some shots, you get some bad bounces, you get some good bounces, but it tests all facets of your game, and you sort of have to sort of imagine what you're going to do or how you're going to hit it into that slope to keep it on the fairway, or it's a tabletop green and you've got to land it front edge, because you land it too far, it bounces on. So I'm very much that way, rather than been on a TrackMan and you just smash away, you hit a shot to point A, and then it's going to stay in point A. I mean, you can, at Parapara, you can hit a shot to a point and it can end up in point C, not point A where you're going. So I like that. But I really like number 8. And it's probably, as I said, that was the hole. Just looks innocuous. It's pretty much just hit to the top of the fairway there, where I presume still the same, sort of falls away on either side. The wind is what makes it. Hit a good drive there. A green that just looks fairly innocuous, but can trip you up. And that's what I like about it. I mean, you hit some good shots, you get rewarded. And if you're slightly off, the hole just sort of changes straight away. So that's probably my favourite.
It certainly sounds like from your previous story that 8 played a big role in you winning that New Zealand Open. You birdied that hole and kicked on, took the lead and won the New Zealand Open by 4 shots. And Michael, like I said earlier, that put your history etched into our history, and it's wonderful today to reconnect with you. I know you live in Perth now. I assume you still have family back in New Zealand, and I'd like to think, should the occasion arise, we would love to see you back at Paraparaumu Beach and perhaps share that walk up 18 and enjoy and relive some of that emotion and memories that clearly has been stirred up anew and retold to us here today. So thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your story with us.
Thanks, Leo. I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's a bit self-indulgent, but yeah, the New Zealand Open was it was cool, and it still sends shivers up my spine, especially the last 100 metres where I had to sort of fight my way through the crowd. So it was good fun.
All right, Michael, take care, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Leo. Thank you.